how we doing? Hope we had another great weekend out there. Hope you found all those eggs. There's none sneaking around, cause you'll find those later and it ain't gonna be pretty. So, hey, today we got an awesome lesson in store. I'm gonna teach you how to draw a nice wave. Now this shouldn't take very long at all, so if you've never followed along with me, today is gonna be the day. You're gonna wanna scooch on in, grab your crayons and piece of paper. So check out what we're using today. We have a white crayon, a green, we have a light blue, and we have a blue-green, followed by a purple. Alright, let's go ahead and just jump right into today's lesson. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to start with my light blue crayon, and I'm going to put in the shape of my wave, which can be a whole variety of shapes, so don't try to mimic mine exactly, but essentially, I'm going for like the top half of an eyeball. So it's going to be up and over, and I'm going to use most of the page. So try to fit it so that it doesn't run off or anything. So here we go. Okay, so we got a nice up and over. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to put in the flattened line on the bottom. Perfect. So now what we need to do to make this appear as if it has the sea foam crashing over is we need to divide it in half, but we want to do it with a little bit of style. So I'm going to do kind of like this S curve of sea foam crashing over, just like this. Coming from right here, and right before I get to the halfway point, I'm going to come out and I'm going to dip back in. And there we go, already have a nice wave going. So what we need to do now before we really get cooking is let's color our sea foam white. What this will do is this will make it so that as we color later with the other colors, it doesn't try to resist so much. And I'm gonna go over the top of this too, really kind of saturating it. Now, you could put any little white marks down here if you want. They'll release in the end, although it's not super necessary. Sometimes I'll put little stringy lines, kind of like that. And then maybe little askewed figure eights, which you'll see in the little supplemental drawing there, what those look like. Don't get carried away with them. They're just optional anyways. Okay, I'll go ahead and set that white down. I'm going to grab my green. Now this is kind of like a mid-green. What I'm going to do is I'm going to color in the inside of the wave. Now the reason the inside of the wave is getting green is because it's lifting up out of the water, and what we're doing is we're kind of seeing the nice blue water get some light passing through it, so that sunlight is turning the water green as it passes through. So whenever we use green, it implies that the water's coming up and over. Alright, so got a good amount of green there. Let's go ahead now and maybe fade it out a little bit. Perfect. Okay, let's grab our light blue crayon again. With this, what we're gonna do is fill the entirety of the page. Now, you don't have to color too hard. We're gonna come right back over with the blue-green and really give it its final touch. I told you today was going to be an easy lesson. Look how quick we're busting right through. We're almost done with this thing. Alright, got a little blue there. And of course we want to have that blue going back into the distance. And I'm going ahead and fill my whole page. You'll see that I put tape on the edges. That's just so that when I want a nice clean edge, I can take the tape off and it'll look like it's ready to pop right into a frame, because remember, that's what we do here. We do frame ready art. Okay, so now that we've got that there, basically our whole background, I'm gonna go and color over this green once. Now here's the trick. I'm starting from the top and I'm really pressing. Now as I get towards the center, I'll lift a little bit. There you go, you may break a crayon. That is totally fine. At this point, we got tons of broken crayons if you've been following along. tons of artist crayons, you know, they've lost their skin, and tons of broken crayons. That's fine, we call those leftovers. You just kind of save them up and use every bit of the crayon you can. No going to waste in these times. Alright, so there we go. Just about got that colored in. So now what we see is it's blending in much more with the blue here. So let's go ahead and set that down. What we're going to do is we're going to pick up this purple. We're going to only color the area behind the wave. Now the reason we're doing purple is because the way that color works, even though it seems weird to put this here, it will make it seem behind the wave. It'll make it feel like it's actually further away. So I'm just giving a nice light coat. You can see how fast I fill my page with color as I go. It's because I'm using the edge of the crayon, not the point of the crayon. Okay, we basically got 2 more steps left. Let's go in with the blue-green, but we want to go very hard with it. We want to make sure that we super duper saturate our drawing. So what you see me doing is really pushing into this. And I'm going to go right up to the wave, just all the way across. And notice that the motion I've been using has just been back and forth. I mean, it just kind of already conveys water. We haven't even put in any little ripples or waves. I'm putting in a little bit of the dark blue-green up in the top of the wave, not a whole lot, and I'm blending it in at the bottom of the wave. So there we go. Now I'm gonna come back here, and same thing, I'll just fill it out. And the idea is that you want some of the purple to come through. You don't want it to be just strictly the one color. All right, there we go, almost there. Great job today. Look at that, we are almost done. So in this last step we're coming up to, you're gonna wanna find something to scratch at your paper with. Now what I'm gonna use is gonna be a quarter, but whatever you find that's easy, then go for it. As a last touch, I'm gonna take a little bit of this light blue and just kind of lightly kind of shade at some of the edges of this sea foam, especially right where it hits the wave right there. And maybe here and there. We'll scratch a little and see what comes off as we finish out this drawing. So there we go. All right, so now, before you know it, we're already in the last step. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start within the wave. Here's the whole trick. You need to think of this like it's curving. So what I do is I do like parenthesis type scratches. There we go. Another one. Another one. And I keep building up these kind of thick curved scratches, mostly in the center, and as I get to the other side, then I cut across and I clear out the center of the wave. Now you get these little chunkies on your page. Just go ahead and scratch those away as you get them. There we go. Now, anything that you want cleared out in the top of the sea foam, if you had white there, you can scratch and it'll just cut right away. So what I'm doing is just going and cleaning up any of that I wanted to soften. Perfect. A little bit kind of coming into the wave. You can smudge too, just a little bit here and there. Perfect. Okay, last but not least, let's put some little indications of waves in the water, which I'm going to do by going thick to thin with how I scratch. So starting side of the quarter, turning. And if you have some of those whites under, this is when you'll find that they'll pick back up. Perfect. Now this is just nice and subtle, but it gets the job done. All right. If you feel like you need to enrich your waves anymore, you can always go over with one more coat. I'm gonna do one more really hard. Really hard. And this will really help just seal the illusion. like we have a nice foreground. And I may go and even scratch one more time. There we go. And you can fade into your wave a little bit. Perfect. All right. I think that we can call that a nice little crayon wave that anytime we'd like, you know, give it a little practice. You could only get better at something like this. So, hey, until next time, doodle on.